Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dario here with another Options and Play video update. So last week, really kind of like a wacky finish after kind of a wacky week in general. A lot of big movement. Those heavily shorted squeezy names have come roaring back. Just when you think you've seen it all, they come back to life and that's really had people on the hunt for like the next big move or the big squeeze this week on the company's reporting. And one of the things we were talking about today, and I kind of want to just do like a visual breakdown of it, is that um, even though we did see some really large swings on earnings, some big rallies late last week, the actual gaps, so the overnight moves were actually not that large, right? So, in theory, you didn't need to take the options into the print. You more than likely could have gotten better prices the following morning when the options opened because it didn't move materially, right? So I'm just going to walk through a few examples, and these were some of the biggest movers on Friday. Carvana up huge on Friday. What you'll notice is, right, that Carvana actually only opened up. So on reporting, right, the stock actually only opened up very modestly. So it closed 33.54, opened the next day at 35, and then during the session it traded up to 48.50. So basically, 13 and a half points happened during the day, right? It only gapped a dollar and a half, which is well underneath what the options were pricing in, right? AMC, another example, huge move on Friday. But what you'll notice is that the stock actually opened red, right? It had a gap, and it wasn't even that big of a gap. It was only like $2, and then the biggest move actually happened during the day, right? So like another instance where the stock really didn't move enough for the options initially. Beyond Meat, another example, right? Pricing in like a big swing on earnings, stock actually only opened down about like a dollar 25 or $1.30. So that was nowhere near what the options were pricing in. And guess what? The entire move happened during the session, right? Um, Wayfair, another one. Stock didn't move nearly enough for the options, but when it started to move, it was like after the numbers had come out. So, just kind of like using these as an example because these are the ones that everybody sees that go parabolic, and then they're like, oh, what's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? Well, these stocks actually really didn't gap much. So there's a good chance that if you were paying attention and went after them off the open on Friday, you could have gotten options at a better price because these stocks were pricing in large moves, didn't gap large, right? And a lot of the move happened during the day, so the option pricing contracts after it doesn't have a huge gap, and then the option pricing expands during the day, right? When the stock has a huge move. So, things you want to keep in mind, and definitely food for thought as you start to screen for earnings this week because you're seeing a lot of elevated option pricing, right? Like I'm seeing some like really big priced in moves with the options having moved higher over the last couple of days as some of these names have moved higher, right? So I'm really trying to question or I'm really trying to like ask myself, okay, do I need to lay out options on a stock that's pricing in a 20, 25, 30% move this week when historically that stock just hasn't had gaps of that magnitude, right? And then using Beyond Meat and AMC and Carvana and Wayfair as examples, well, all those stocks had fairly modest gaps, and most of the big action was during the day when you could have gotten options most likely at a better price. Okay, so just things to think about as you start to really screen for setups and patterns this week on companies that are reporting. It's and tonight could be another good gauge because you got a lot of other like heavily shorted names reporting where options have really started to like expand pricing wise. So I think tonight will be like a good tell whether where things have just gotten a little bit too expensive on the option front, and maybe some better opportunities the day after once the numbers come out and option pricing cools off. Okay, so should be a busy week. should be a busy week with earnings and the CPI on Wednesday. So I think there's gonna be a lot to look forward to. Um, so if you like this video and you're looking for more information on trading earnings with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night, stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.